For way too long, we've just kind of accepted this system of giving, right? It's a practice that's been handed down and we follow it. Well, today, we are not just inheriting, we're going to reconstruct. We're going straight back to the original source code, the divine blueprint itself, to rebuild our entire understanding of charity, right from the ground up. Okay, so let's just dive right in with the big one, the foundational question that cuts through centuries of tradition. We're all taught that zakat is 2.5%, calculated once a year on our total wealth. But where in the clear book does it actually say that? The answer, when you look directly at the scripture, might be a little shocking. It doesn't. It's just not there. That 2.5% annual model, it's a product of tradition, not a direct command from the divine text. And when you actually put the inherited models side by side with what the Quranic text describes, you can see the sheer scale of the difference. It's staggering. The calculation base, the rate, the timing, every single part of it is completely different. This isn't just a minor tweak. This is a complete system overhaul. So what does this shift actually mean? Well, we are talking about a massive, fundamental change in thinking. We are moving from what's become a stagnant ritual to what was always meant to be a dynamic, divinely engineered socio-economic engine. So, if the old model isn't in the book, then where do we find the authentic one? Well, the answer is just as elegant as it is profound. It's actually locked right inside the language of the revelation itself. We have to start there, with the linguistic DNA of giving. The whole thing boils down to the roots of the words themselves, zakat and sadaqah. They are not the same thing. They are two distinct systems, hard-coded right into the scripture, each with a different purpose, a different origin. One is about an objective, almost mechanical process of purification. The other? That's all about subjective sincerity, a proof of what's in your heart. Understanding this core difference is the key to unlocking the entire system. All right, let's break down zakat first. It comes from the root ZKW, which has this critical dual meaning, to purify and to grow. So zakat is this objective, precise, almost clockwork-like process of refining your assets. Think of it like this. The principle is that wealth cannot be blessed with growth until it's first been cleansed of its inherent social impurity. That's the portion that rightly belongs to the community. Now put that next to sadaqah. Totally different vibe. This comes from the root SDQ. Think truth, sincerity. Sadaqah is the proof of your faith. It's the physical action that validates what you claim to believe in your heart. You see the difference? One is a system for social purity. The other is a personal test of integrity. So now that we have this linguistic key, this correct lens, suddenly all the pieces of the puzzle just start to click into place. And what emerges is this breathtakingly logical system. The Quran's mechanics for zakat become crystal clear. First up, timing. And the book is so incredibly explicit about this. We are commanded to render its due on the day of its harvest. There's absolutely no mention of waiting for a new year or some anniversary. The obligation is immediate. In our world, what's your harvest? It's payday. It's the moment that profit hits your bank account. This whole system is designed for flow, for constant circulation, not for wealth to just sit there in a stagnant pond once a year. Okay, so we know when to give. The next question is, from what part of our wealth do we give? And again, the book is incredibly specific. It's not from your gross salary or your total savings, no way. The command is to give from al-afwa, and that means the surplus. Look at this funnel. You take your gross income, you subtract your basic living needs, you subtract your legitimate debts, and that leftover part, that's the surplus. That's al-afwa. This makes sure the burden of giving never falls on people who are just trying to get by. And this brings us to the main event, the question we started with. What is the rate? Well, from that surplus we just defined, the scripture details two distinct pathways. The first is an institutional due, a fixed 20%, or hums, which literally means 1/5, and it's based on the only explicit financial rate for any kind of gain in the entire book. This creates a massive, high-impact safety net. The second path is a flexible capacity, a living decision based on your conscience. That second path is all about balance, what's called the middle way principle in Surah 17, verse 29. It commands us to find an equilibrium. We shouldn't be miserly, hoarding wealth and underfunding the system, but we also shouldn't give so much that we become broke ourselves. The rate is guided by your specific capacity and your sincere conscience. So the crucial point here is that both of these scriptural pathways completely replace the 2.5% tradition. It's a whole new framework. Okay, so we've got the core components laid out on the table. Now let's zoom out and see how they all assemble into this complete, divinely engineered socioeconomic architecture. It's pretty amazing when you see it all together. The next critical question is, where does this money actually go? Surah 9, verse 60, establishes a very, very restrictive gate. The verse literally kicks off with the word innama, which means only. And this is huge. It means the mandatory zakat funds are exclusively for 8 specific categories. You can't just give it to any generic cause you happen to like. And here they are: the poor, the needy, the administrators who manage the funds, those whose hearts are to be reconciled, the bonded or captives, debtors, the cause of God, and the stranded traveler. You can see how this creates a really comprehensive and targeted social safety net. But here's where it gets really beautiful. Look at the contrast with sadaqah. If zakat is rigid and systemic, sadaqah is just boundless. It's completely voluntary, it's spontaneous, and you can give it to anyone. And get this, it's not even about money. The book is clear that kind words and forgiveness are valid forms of sadaqah. This completely democratizes charity. It means everyone, even a person with zero financial surplus, can still participate. And this is where we find this really elegant paradox. That same verse, 960, defines the mandatory zakat as a farida, a rigid law, but it calls the funds themselves sadaqat, which is the language of voluntary sincerity. So, what's going on here? How can a mandatory tax be called a voluntary offering? The resolution is profound. You cannot build a pure society, zakat, without individual truthfulness, sadaqah. See, just handing over the money fulfills the legal duty, but the act itself must be performed with a sincere heart to be spiritually valid. This brilliantly illustrates the integrated system. The structure of zakat and the spirit of sadaqah have to work together. It's this beautiful synergy of law and love, structure and spirit. So let's bring it all home. Let's put it all together. What's the final output of this restored Quranic model? What happens when we actually apply this divine blueprint? The systemic output is nothing less than the eradication of poverty. The immediate harvest-triggered payment forces rapid wealth circulation and ends hoarding. Taxing only the surplus ensures justice is built right into the design. The Clear Book isn't just offering some vague metaphorical guidance. It provides a literal, masterfully engineered blueprint to construct a tangible, real-world safety net. So, the code is written, the blueprint is there. The responsibility now really falls on us to apply it. And this leaves us with a profound question to think about personally. If your day of harvest is the day you receive your income, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, what does applying this immediate surplus-based model actually look like for you? How would it change your financial planning and maybe even your spiritual outlook? We genuinely want to hear your thoughts on this, so please share them in the comments below. If you want to keep exploring the scriptural blueprint with us and challenging other long-held traditions by going straight back to the Clear Book, make sure you subscribe to the channel God Alone, Quran Alone. If you found this analysis valuable, please hit that like button, share this explainer so others can benefit, and definitely be sure to activate that notification bell so you can join us for our latest insights as soon as they're released.